Good morning, Adi. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Yes, good morning, and thank you for joining this interview. This morning, I would like to ask you some of questions that you may answer with your own experience based on mindfulness session that we have in the poetry class.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, can you answer my question clearly? How is the implementation of mindfulness in my poetry class?
So mindfulness has varies some specific things that help me to support my writing. First of all, it helps my mental state become clearer by helping me to achieve that sense of peace, by help me to achieve the ability to recall my memories, my experiences, and all of my knowledges that I have, because
Mm,
it takes me to the present time. It doesn't
mm,
it doesn't allow me to go somewhere that where I'm not supposed to be, like
mm,
my mind is wandering everywhere else.
mm,
Mindfulness helped me to
mm.
become like that.
So, do you think mindfulness, what is it, put you in the present moment and open your, what is it, high awareness on your surrounding?
Yes, certainly it helps me to become more present by feeling everything that surrounds me, what
Okay.
I see, what I feel, that things.
Yeah. How does do you think mindfulness approach stimulate your imagination, your creativity, and your productivity in poetry writing? How does it stimulate your what is it, your senses
Mm,
in
okay,
poetry writing?
okay. Since it helps me to become really peaceful and relaxed, I think it's helping me in the way of I can recall of the insights that I have, where previously I cannot
Mhm,
use my full potentials, even though that I have them in myself, but because that I'm able to make my mind become clearer by this mindful
mhm,
approaches, I managed to get all of those potentials that I have in me to come
mhm,
out and put it and make it work, make the best of it. Whereas previously, I feel like when I'm not fully present in a moment, I cannot feel all of those things. Yet I have it
okay.
all, but I cannot make it work.
Mhm. So, do you think this is how your creativity then and what is it stimulated?
Yes, it
Mhm.
works that way, I think.
Yeah. So, how do you think it stimulates your creativity in writing poetry? Because from your poetry, I know that you are having a trauma in
Uh,
which that trauma leads you to write poetry with theme of terror and death
mm,
and darkness. How do
mm.
you think this mindfulness could then lead you to language creativity based on that theme?
Okay. Personally, I think that mindfulness has become something that makes me accept myself even more. Um, Truth to be told, that I don't really like to recalling on my past experiences. But what I felt back then, after doing the approaches or the techniques of the mindfulness, um, I don't know why I'm able to recall of the experiences where before there
Mm.
was some kind of denial that I gave
Mhm.
to myself. when it comes to me, when my mind recalls them back, I didn't quite accept that as something that I should do. But
Mm-hmm.
mindfulness helped me to accept it not only as something that can come to me, usual
Mm-hmm.
thing, but it turns to a creativity, something I can use to make something, make an art, if you can say.
Mm-hmm.
So it removes all denials of past experiences recalling.
So, how do you think mindfulness could improve your poetry writing skill? So, maybe you can compare with previous experience where you never write a poetry
Mm,
compared to when you join my mindfulness session and
mhm.
with poetry writing experience. So, do you think your skill is improved in such a way?
Yes, I do think that my skill is quite improved. I can say this because of that mindfulness helps me to become in a clearer mental of state where I can activate all of my senses to see
Mm,
everything in my surroundings, to feel something,
mm,
to see something, to smell some things, to hear things,
mm,
and the most important thing that is to feel the vibes of a situations. If you remember one of my poetry entitled
mm.
what is it, the death. So
Yes,
i
yes.
i took that inspirations from the vibes of rain, because I don't really like rain, because for me, it gives a sense of
Mm-hmm,
darkness, it gives a
mm-hmm,
sense of sadness. So when I'm given the mindfulness, I mean,
mm-hmm,
I can feel it even stronger. The time when the rain
mm,
comes in, I feel it stronger. And
mm,
I think previously I cannot do all of this stuffs, because I didn't have that very, like very good, how do you call it,
mm-hmm.
instinct. I don't know, instinct to feel
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Intuition, yeah, maybe
yeah,
intuition.
intuitions, yeah, intuitions to feel
Yeah.
something. Plus the journal, the mindfulness journal,
Mm-hmm.
really a handy tool for me to
Yeah.
collect all my inspirations from
Mm-hmm.
what I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I will follow up that question by how could uh, mindfulness improve language creativity in more specific ways, like the diction of your
Mhm.
poetry, the metaphors that you are choosing, and then the other style or elements in poetry that help
Okay.
shape your what is it, poetry structure.
Mm.
Does this element or does this process improve your language creativity? I mean, specifically language creativity.
Um, for me, I think mindfulness has this kind of aesthetic
Mm-hmm.
vibrance. I think, yeah, it directs myself to what is it? It helps me to build the intentions of my writing. For example, if I want to make my writing become more implicit, um, mindfulness guides me to choose some of the words that not explicitly telling what I'm writing. But
Mm-hmm.
in the other hand, when I'm wanting to write something that is direct, something that is
Mm-hmm.
not hidden, something that explicitly shown to the readers, it guides me to choose some of the words that is not, how can you say, length, no, lengthy. It tends to choose some of the words that is straightforward. Yeah. For example, if I want to say something about love, I just simply put word love. Yeah, that is just being honest. It is what it is. But when
Mm.
it
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
to implicit things, I try to do a little bit of trick. It's all because
Mm,
of the aesthetic um, points that mindfulness have that it teaches me.
mm. Okay, all right. Okay, so now I'd like to ask you about a little bit personal about your
Mhm.
personal life. Yeah,
Yeah.
uh, how this moment of your life uh,
Mm.
could what is it inspire you to write poetry? What kind of moment that you bring into the poetry, and why do you choose that kind of moment to be your poetry?
Okay, when it comes to my own life experience, actually I have a lot of experiences, but maybe the ones that left a very sensitive or something that really appealing inside of myself is that trauma, the fear,
Mm,
because it it's something that I have never felt before. It live it leaves some kind of marks inside of me.
mhm,
So at the first time I wrote a poetry, I think of
mhm,
something that is that has a strong emotional tense in it, because I myself like to write something that emphasized on feelings rather than beautiful
mhm,
words. So I choose that phobia experience because because for me it has a very strong resonance of emotions that I wish to share throughout my audiences, so throughout the readers. So
mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I choose one that is that has very strong emotions.
Okay. Thank you. Um. Oh, what is it? Uh, you have. Uh, I think you have personal. Strong. Trauma that is about. Uh. Uh. Paranoia of
Yeah.
a certain thing. But
Mhm.
then. When you accept that and you write in poetry, do you
Mhm.
think somehow your trauma has been solved, or in a way has made you
Mhm.
different in seeing that? Or
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wait. When it comes to trauma, I think personally, I think it takes more than just writing to make it gone. So what I will say is that poetry helps me to relieve the
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable feeling of the trauma. So writing a poetry on which inspired by that trauma helps me a little bit to get off something from my chest. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
technically it doesn't technically takes all the trauma though, but it
Mm-hmm.
helps me a lot to to what is it to get rid of the burden because of that
Mm-hmm.
strong negative emotional state,
Mm-hmm.
because because it's expressing feelings, yeah, because it's expressing something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. uh do you think that what is it uh, in terms of language learning, yeah, in terms of the language development in the context of EFL,
Mhm.
language learning, poetry writing could enhance your language development. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is really helps
Mm-hmm.
me to improve my language, because when I write my poetry, and when I'm feel like I'm really present in a certain moment, there's some kind of psychological I don't know, some emotions that you cannot express by some, like
Mm-hmm.
when we are happy, it's so easy to find
Mm-hmm.
word happy in dictionary, right? But
Yeah.
there are certain words that represent some kind of, I don't know, confusing emotional state in human. There are some words that that that
Mm-hmm.
vocabulary has a meaning of some certain emotional state.
Mm-hmm.
I took a note some of that, but I forgot. Yeah, it helps me to find some undiscovered words, especially when it comes to adjective, so
Mm.
that it helps me to learn.
Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. You have also this kind of talent inside you. I think your talent is actually writing a beautiful thing based on your sensory or five senses. Yeah.
Mhm.
But then, do you realize this talent or whatever, maybe gift, before you are entering the class of mindfulness in poetry writing?
Um, when the first time I wrote something, or the first time I jumped in the world of writing, I didn't quite sense a talent side of me. Um, what I say, maybe after taking the poetry class specifically, it helps me to become more aware of that talent, because
Mm-hmm.
I have a space, I have an environment where I can explore that things, because previously it wasn't, the situations or the conditions wasn't as good as that moment when I took the poetry class, compared
Mm-hmm.
to what I've taken in the campus, in your class, in your poetry class. um my writing was not that compelling, you know. It wasn't really appealing, but maybe
Mm-hmm.
because of that, I had more space to create something, to
Mm-hmm.
prove myself. I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
big comparison. Yeah, it gets better when I was in the poetry class.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, that's all for the
Right.
interview, Adi. I'm so happy that you could share your poetry writing experience with me. And I'm very proud of you because you have written such beautiful poetry. And later on, I believe that you could you could do better and better. And yeah, as a promising poet, yeah, in the
Thank you.
future. Well, thank you so much for your time. Maybe that's all for now.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
Adi.
Okay.